get started, I always like to ask permission from your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, and everybody who's involved.
Yeah, I feel you.
For a moment of grounding, we're going to go ahead and repeat after me. So, just for today, express my gratitude.
Express my gratitude.
Just for today, I will not worry.
Just for today, I will not worry.
For today, I will not anger.
Just for today, I will not anger.
Just for today, I will do my work honestly.
Just for today, I will do my work honestly.
Just for today, I'll be kind to all creatures.
Just for today, I will be kind to all creatures.
Deep breath in. And exhale. Back to this present moment whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, the first thing that came to your shoulders, something said it's okay to play, it's safe to play. Started crying when I went to your left side, and then I thought about your mom. But this was like for
mom stuff.
yeah.
Like, she's not like in my mind, but oh no, I had a dream about her last night.
That's crazy.
Well, she bought a big house, but this house had zombies coming out. I mean,
what?
Well, the world was getting like, what is that called? Apocalypse, zombie apocalypse. It was just a weird dream, which I think was a mixture of like a client and then like how she's getting, I think, like kind of negatively attacked by energies, and my dream translated to like, was it the humans that eat people?
Oh, like the cannibals?
Yeah, cannibals. And the cannibals were the zombies. And they're like coming out of, they're like more and more coming around in Earth, which is weird. But I was in my mom's house. Like I was living with her again. But then I guess there's a lot of mom stuff that's like connected in my energy that I think it's just been a journey to release. I don't know why. Like I don't think she mentally affects me, but then whenever I have like sessions, she comes up.
This is the first session that I like cried.
Oh really? What
did you hear me sniffing?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, I just started crying, and I like kind of cried.
Did she feel okay? Like really, I guess it was connected to you, think? Or maybe it's like my emotions about my mom, like how I feel connected. Don't feel connected to her. Like our connection, you know?
Yeah, sometimes I literally don't understand, but I'll feel like pain just comes
everything that I'm saying about it is like a part of it, right?
Wow. But how did you feel? Did you feel like
your sound brings out your fairies. So, yeah, so I was like, oh, it makes sense why she calls herself the Reiki fairy. And I was like, does she know she's a fairy? But yeah, like
I don't know, I don't.
So you have fairy energy that works with you. So it was you at first, and then when you started to do and work with your sound, it transitioned into your fairy version of you, and then they were working on me.
Wow.
Yeah, so your sound brings them out. It was almost like you called them with the bell, and then I'm like, what came first, the sound and then the bell? But then you opened me up into that world with your bowls, like, which is your world, right? And then you're healing me in there. And then they were bringing me, it was weird. It was like, you know, I don't know, it's like Adam and Eve shit. I think like, it's like a garden of something, like here's me. And then the garden started to grow around me, which was almost like consoling me. And then your fairies started to come out, and then they were playing with me. But then they're healing me in whatever way they were healing me that they needed to do for me. And then they started, like I started to sink into the ground, and then they started to show me how my mushrooms grow. Like they were like showing me like just things about the plants, and then they're like, yeah, they're like mushrooms, like how they grow. They're like, we tickle the seed. They're like, we tickle the seed, and they start to like come up and pop, and then yeah, they're like, then you pick them from there. But yeah, I saw like a few of them, but then you were like their mother fairy.
That's amazing.
So just like hanging out in your fairy world.
That's so cool. At the end, when I was like at your shoulders, like I heard like a little kid in me, and I was like, I got your back.
Oh, cute. That's cute. Yeah, I felt like you were. I mean, there's different things, right? So the fairies are one. When you talk about my mom, I was like, okay, maybe more like connection with my mom. I need more of that, I guess, because however, yeah, maybe, but. And then.
Well, I noticed your tattoo. What does that symbolize with the drinking?
It is how we used to connect. Like we drink, and then like she is playful her and stuff like that. But yesterday when I actually drank yesterday, which. I don't know if I was supposed to, but I mean I did it because I was like, oh, my body's allowing me to. Okay. And I haven't drank since I had the surgery. And I was reflecting last night when I drank about when I was drinking, and I was like, I had fun. And then I was literally like, I need to remember to have fun.
It's safe to play.
Yeah, so it makes sense when you say that, like it's safe to play. Even though I'm like, life is so easy for me, like it really is. But then, in the midst of all of it still being easy, I'm still forgetting to have fun in it for some reason. But then it's easy enough to have fun in. But it's like I'm just constantly, I guess, like carrying the weight in a weightless way. Which my mom carries the weight in the family, like, you know, when we were growing up together. Yeah.
You know,
Could be a lot of connection to all of that. She forgets to play. But then we have a little family trip to go to Universal, which is one that we haven't taken in a while. And she wants to go there because she wants to go and play, you know? And we're taking like the whole family with us.
Good.
Yeah.
It's always nice. And I think, what about Dad?
Dad's there. He tries hard, you know, like, excuse me, when channels move through me, I like burp. It's weird.
I just get itchy and like tickly.
I burp, so I'll be like, why is it like that? My dad's there. He's cool. Like, me and my dad were more connected growing up compared to my mom. And then Crystal, who also works here, she did a little the energy fork things and however she works with them. And my mom came up on my left knee. And I was like, oh. And she's like, what happened to your mom? And she brought me back to my mom's womb. And then I started to understand how she felt. And then the hard decision she had to make with me. And then I like carried her trauma from there, you know? Like weird stuff. And then me and my mom's lives literally mirror. Like, I mean, in different ways. But I'm not on the survival mode, like how obviously a lot of our parents are.
Yeah.
But
it's that older generation.
Yeah, like I had my son the same age she had me. I had a miscarriage the same age she has a miscarriage. Like literally, like that parental thing is like mirroring. Then me and my brother are, I think like 9-10 years apart. My son just turned 10, so I feel like I'm gonna have a kid next year. Yeah, weird.
But we'll
but
see.
I'm like, I know it, and it's like it's like matching all of hers.
Wow.
Yes, I know that's like hers, but mine, you know.
Wow.
And it made sense
Crazy
during that
connection.
session with Crystal, and I'm like, I didn't realize how I was like, I knew something was happening there, and I didn't know what was connecting us, but it was like all the way womb-wise, you know.
You know, it's the womb is just such a sacred and like challenging thing to ever keep balance. Because that's like we're honing, we give life there. You know,
it's crazy. Like the more you think about it, I'm like, huh, how? But then it makes sense, and then it doesn't. But then it just, it's so secret. I never seen it that way until I started seeing myself back in it. Because when I started doing Kundalini teacher training a while ago, they did a meditation where we went back to the womb too, and I was like, whoa. And now every pregnant woman, I'm like, yeah, be nice to her.
Yeah.
You know, like give yourself grace.
Bro, vortex.
Literally a portal. You know. Yeah, but your parents were cool. It was cool to be in that little garden, and I was like going down and in, kind of like a movie. Like I don't know what movie this is when you're like kind of sinking underground,
Yeah.
and then like the plants are starting to go all around you, and then you're like going in, you're like, what the fuck? And then they're like, it's okay, and they're just like pushing me, and I'm like, okay,
just
just
do it.
And then that's when I started going into the dirt, and then we were just like adventuring in there, and they were showing me like the soils and like how nutrition is, or nutrition, whatever. They're literally teaching me in there.
That's like pretty cool that you can see stuff.
And
And I'm just really, just have fun.
Yeah, so maybe like knowing that, like maybe tune into them more when you're doing sound. Do you feel them playing maybe? Maybe you feel them and you don't realize it. They're definitely playing me.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've always just like loved music.
Mhm.
Like that's how I used to cope and self-soothe. My trauma when I was a child was my used to be stepdad molested me,
Mhm.
and I felt like I hid, but I always just had music and writing.
Mhm.
So I think like that helped me like a
Yeah.
lot. So,
Oh. Well, there you go. They're very playful. It makes sense. I need to be reminded to play, and they showed me.
well,
It's like,
we're
oh my
here to
gosh, you're
play
seeing
together.
it.
I know. Oh my god, how was the ceremony?
It was good. It was great. Yeah, my son, his librarian from school came, and then his kindergarten teacher came. My two cousins they're artists, and they're constantly like battling through like internal things, and everyone's just detaching from old versions of them, including myself, which everything that I do, like obviously life talks, right? So then I've been watching this show, and it's so random, but I've been watching this show called Geek, and it was like, I'm not even,
What's that about?
it's about this model girl, and she's just like, she always wants to, it makes sense to like what we were talking about too, like hiding, right? Like she's like, sucks that, the message at the beginning, she's like, sucks that sometimes, you want to hide, but then the more you see, the more you're seen, the more you recognize, that you can't hide from anything that's meant for you, right, kind of thing. And her best friend's a model. It's like it's like a foreign little show, but it's cute. Her best friend wants to be a model, but then she becomes kind of like a designer, and then they do this model casting together because someone scouts her, but then she goes because she wants her best friend to go. The next she becomes the one that's chosen, and she realizes what modeling does for her. that like gives her a sense of like focus and all this stuff. But everything that she's doing feels like it falls apart. But then it's not really falling apart; it's falling into place. She just had to shift her perspective. And her stepmom's like, let me see the list of everyone that hates Harriet. And then she starts crossing it off. She's like, the only person that matters is you, so stop hating yourself, because her name was on her own list. And then it was beautiful. And then I started realizing in the end, I was like, oh my God, this whole thing is telling me how to just like accept me, because that's my biggest problem, right? Like, fuck. It's like I'm doing all the things that are me, but then it's still hard to like believe that I'm supposed to be doing these things, even though everyone comes here, wants to have sessions and all of that.
Right.
It's weird. It's like, I don't know. Like,
that's so crazy. That's like, it kind of like falls back to my life, that like synchronicity too. I just got scouted by an agency.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why I'm telling you the story.
And I just signed it. Like,
yeah,
I signed up with them because
mm-hmm.
I felt like in the past, if I was gonna have to choose like Reiki or whatever, that I couldn't live in the normal world.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to cross. Like, I came from like the cocktailing industry and a lot of like vain industries. And then like I started into the Reiki, and it was hard for me to like, can I even mesh these worlds?
That's how I felt with my own.
Yeah, like I felt like a lot of people would take me seriously.
Outside of this, like, I build businesses. Like, I'm a business consultant, specifically in the cannabis industry, but I try to get out of that industry because I don't like it, but it's what brings me money to have this. And I just wanted to be a healer full time, but then it's also hard to be a healer full time.
Right.
It's like your body only allows you, and then you have to go do something else. And next, you know, it's like if you depend on this, it doesn't work, and it turns into survival. And I'm like, no, that's not how I live. And I didn't understand how to weave them until it started weaving.
Nice.
You know, but it weaves beyond you trying to weave it. You know, you just have to, in the midst of all of the weaving, just accept all that you do and allow you to be all parts of you, which is all of that. You know,
right.
And it's like, what the fuck? Maybe you need to watch the show.
Wow. Okay.
It's called Geek on Netflix.
I love that. Well, thank you.
Because she loves like nerdy things, and she's at one point in the show, she's like, I quit. She's like, I just want to be normal. And her best friend's like, but you're good at it. And she's like, yeah, but it's fine. She's, it wasn't working for me. And she was like, it is working for you. And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, I was losing you. Like, I was losing all these people. But then there are people that she didn't need to, like, you know, that didn't matter in her life. Yeah. And she loves signs. Like, every time she gets scared, she's like, I'm a polar bear. Like, I'm a polar bear. Like, it's super cute. And then, yeah, she just turns nerdy. Or she's nerdy. And now she's a supermodel. And she's getting bullied. And then she's just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Like, I am a geek. So she like rocks it in the end. She's like walking down and strutting, and she has the sign that says geek on her back. And then next thing you know, the fashion model who she's walking for made a line called Geek by Yuji Lee.
What?
Yeah, so it took her to like accept her, for her to realize like it'll impact people in whatever way. But that part is like my story right there, where it's like, okay, I'm constantly being me, but I have to see and constantly be remind myself that being all versions of me, even though it feels, I think I'm so used to feeling different, and that's part of the show too. She's just like, I'm different. And she's like, you know what, I recognize that it's okay to be different. Because growing up, I'm like, I'm so different. Like, why am I so different?
Yeah.
And then, like, even, like, with the gifts, I'm like, why can't you hear what I hear? Like, why am I the only one? You know, so it's like, but it's not a bad thing. But like, you know, our old versions of us kind of shine on the negatives more than the positives. I'm like, I'm helping so many people. Why am I still feeling like this word different sticks out? I'm like, different is me. I'm like, can you please combine now? You know?
Right.
And it does, but sometimes, you know, healing journeys never end. So
sure, it's never linear too.
Yeah.
It's very like,
so it's just constantly reminding, claiming the power, being in it, and then when you are, it just keeps working. Right? Like, this keeps growing beyond me wanting to grow it.
Well, amazing.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you for wanting to be a part of it. You know, and that goes with me not hiding myself, because the right people come through it.
Yeah, literally, this girl sent me your Instagram and was like, look. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know I had one student before, like one of my old little friends, and her mom, like, she's going through a healing thing too, and her mom was also, and her mom found me on TikTok and was like, oh, look at what this girl's saying. And she's like, that's my teacher. And then I was like, oh, weird. Like, you just don't know who you're impacting or influencing, and sometimes we're like all hiding behind our own selves when it's like, no, there's so many people we're gonna touch.
Right. That's so beautiful. I'm such a crier.